Hey, how about this? We are recording both of us. Well, I'm on my phone for the first time. You actually are the one that like figured it out, and you're actually on a computer because you made the nice long drive from wherever you were going to Billings. I got my computer hacked. I got a virus in it. So there's been this guy, uh, Vladimir, that is now in my computer trying to fix it, and now he's asking me, please provide the computer password. What are the odds this Vladimir guy is actually the guy that put the virus on my computer? And
I
now
mean,
he's just going in there and taking it all.
what is he really gonna take though? Honestly, all your passwords to your porn sites or what?
Yeah, I think that's what it is.
Okay.
That's my number one concern right now, Ryan, is I don't need him to see all of the Pornhub search engines.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I know you're working on your account for OnlyFans for your own personal account that people, log in to see you, but I don't know.
Well, I mean, I think I'd be pretty big in OnlyFans, don't you?
Yeah, yeah, literally and figuratively.
Okay, why are you in Billings, Montana?
I am in Billings, Montana to watch the Central or the Eastern A divisional track meet and
Okay.
also some Havre North Stars baseball at the same time.
Ooh.
Adam Jude is in Baltimore covering the Orioles and living the wire, although Adam is like the least Jimmy McNulty person on the planet. Um, and so I flew home so I could see my girlfriend's kids compete in the track meet and
Okay.
then also some baseball on Sunday. So
So these baseball kids, like, do you train with these kids? Is that the
I
deal?
yeah, train my girlfriend's son Tyson and
Okay.
then a couple of his teammates. I work with them in the off season and then uh, my girlfriend's daughter Macy, they're twins. She's really good at tracks. She's like one of the best 400 runners in the state. So
Wow.
right now, Cindy, my girlfriend, is a nervous mess. She's probably pacing and chewing off her nails and everything else. So,
See, do you get nervous at all for them?
um, no, not really. I mean, I don't know. I'm just kind of like being around pro athletes now and stuff like that. Like for me, the idea is like if you prepare as hard as you can and you know that you walked out and you did everything you could to get ready to compete, then some little bit of nerves are good because it means that you care, but the rest of it, like, just go out and do what you've been trained to do. So
Okay. All right.
I'm all taught
Look at
now.
you. That was a very cliche.
Yeah, I
Like,
know.
Jesus
I sounded
Christ.
like some of Andy McKay's esoteric
God,
psychobabble
come
sometimes. Yeah.
on.
No, like honestly though, no, I do get a little bit nervous. I get with Tyson and his hitting, I get irritated fast. I once texted his coach, his Legion coaches. I coached in Legion back in the day, so I texted his coach in the middle of the game to tell him to give him the take sign until he sees a strike because he kept swinging at the first pitch every time. And I was so enraged that I texted him in the middle of the game to give him the take sign from now on. He's like, "Are you kidding me?" I was like, "No."
Legion, how old is that?
So it's like it's 16 to
Yeah.
19.
Yeah,
He's
yeah.
16. He actually played last year when he was 15.
Okay.
So he's pretty good.
All
And
right.
the one thing is like he doesn't strike out. He understands the strike zone. He
Good.
just he won't give in. He's like you on a he's like you on a par 5. He won't swing hard. I'm like, take a hemorrhoid swing. Get some hemorrhoids from swinging hard. Let's go. So
You're so right. I'm such a God. I won't do it.
you
I
won't
play
you
too
just
conservative.
I know, and that's the thing is
I
like
did.
I think part of it comes from last year. He was 15 and he started on a lot of games and he didn't want to make a mistake for
No.
all the older kids. So he's played super defensive and like passive and I'm like, no. You got to get a look. See, that's the thing though. Is like he's 16 and he's 6'1", and he's strong as that. He's strong. Like you gotta have a little bit like when I was 16, I was 5'3", I had little man syndrome and wanted to fight everybody I saw. He needs a little man syndrome,
Yeah.
to get, so I don't know. No, it's been good. The drive down was nice. It's
Good.
it's Montana. I mean, I probably got to Billings, which is a 3.5 hour drive faster than I got to SeaTac the other day.
Well, and then it's a straight shot. I mean,
Oh
you are
man.
you are just on that road forever. There's no
Yeah.
moving around.
No, it's cool. I mean, like I'm excited to be here and to go do this, but it's Montana, that's 4 hours as a commute. I mean, you're Havre, Montana. You're 4 hours from everywhere, pretty much.
All right, so the baseball team, they start a very important series here with the Orioles, and kind of a a barometer, right, so to speak, of kind of where they're at, and maybe even a barometer for the Orioles. You wrote about it today, and you're right. I mean, this is the number one offense in the American League, and it's a hell of a test for this pitching staff, which has been great. And Miller gets the first chance tonight, and then it's going to be Castillo and Kirby. I mean, do guys put an emphasis on this? I mean, they know how good Baltimore is, and then Baltimore, in turn, knows how good their pitching staff. Can you put too much importance in a series like this early in the season? I guess. I guess we're not that
No,
early
I
anymore.
mean, but you want to see, they know that everybody picked Baltimore to be good this year. And Baltimore was in the playoffs last year, and I'm sure they're tired about hearing about their young, exciting core and all this other stuff. So yeah, I think they're aware of it. I mean, they had some great games last year in Baltimore with them, even here. So, and I looked at the pitching sort of neutralized Baltimore's hitting, but I think Gunnar Henderson is a better hitter than he was last year.
Yeah.
Jordan Westberg is definitely a better hitter than he was last year. So they're better players. And it'll be interesting. I think it's just a good measurement. It's not just Baltimore. They got to go to New York. I mean, New York's the hottest team in baseball. They just took three from the Twins and allowed
Mm-hmm.
one run over those 3 games, and the Twins, handled the Mariners. So a lot of times it's when you're playing these teams. Baltimore's actually been on a little bit of about a 6 or 7 game scuffle to score runs.
Yeah.
Maybe the Mariners continue it, or maybe not. But because Adley Rutschman hasn't really got going like he's capable of, but like they're just good. Like you look at the lineup, they'll do some platoons and stuff like that. Not a lot of free outs
Yeah.
for as you're trying to go through there. And really, like if you're trying to go through the third time, which is something Bryce Miller has accomplished this year, that's a lot more difficult against these kind of hitters versus maybe the Oakland A's.
Right. All right. What's the health update? What do we got? What do we know? Let's first start with J.P. Crawford. What's the latest with him? Not
Um,
obviously not good.
no, I don't think anything's broken because they would have just, they would have made an announcement. But he got hit pretty hard on the hand, and it looks like. And I texted Justin Hollander. I just said, well, at first I asked Jude and asked Adam Jude, hey, was JP on your flight to Baltimore? Because I think JP is supposed to be on their flight. And I was like, I didn't. I mean, him and Kramer are sitting next to each other with their arms around each other, I'm sure. But like, he said no, JP wasn't on the flight. So I texted Hollander and said, hey, is Justin Hollander, is JP going today? And he said, no, the hand is sore. It's swollen. We want to give him a few days. We're not sure when we'll send him. I mean, they may make him, if you're JP, do you really want to do another rehab stint though? You get dotted again. So it's up in the air, but it does solve some playing time things that they were still trying to work through, I think. So, you know, the bad part is the good part, I guess, is like I think they faced two lefties or two or three lefties in the first two lefties in the first 4 games, so it'll work okay. But yeah, it's not ideal, and you're always concerned about a hand injury, and like when he got hit, the way he reacted, I thought it was broken, and that would have been kind of fitting for how bad how tough of a break his season started off with, but so far, we've heard no reports that it's broke. I know Service is probably getting ready to talk to the media right about now in
So you
Baltimore.
you said something that there was interesting there. You said it solved some of their problems. What do you think they would have done? What do you think um, the steps would have been in terms of playing time? He comes back. What? How does it shift? How does it affect Dylan Moore and others?
Well, it's I it's gonna somebody's gonna play less.
Right.
That's just the way it works, and you're not gonna not play Luke Raley against
No.
right-handers, especially. You're not gonna not play Josh Rojas. So it's like, okay, if you're gonna play Luke Raley against a left or a right-handed pitcher, so somebody's got to sit, right? Because you're going to have Canzone, who hits righties as well. He's going to play. So either Mitch Garver, Mitch Haniger, or Ty France sits to get both those guys in there.
Right.
And how they do it. And maybe it won't be the same guy every time. Maybe they look at it and say, okay, Haniger, you're going to sit this game. Garver, you'll sit, because those guys are older. And, give Ty France a day off against maybe a really tough right-hander. So I think that's how it's going to work. Like with JP, I assume JP will go back to playing every day, but I think they'd be smart not to do it like play him 7 or 8 in a row right when he comes back. I think you got to get Dylan in there. you can always put these guys back in the game. Like just because they're not in the lineup doesn't mean they won't influence a game. I would think that that's the way they're going to have to look at it. And that's the way they're going to have to sell it because like a lot of these guys like Haniger and Garver expect to play every single day. And I think we've seen with Haniger where that's to his detriment sometimes.
I know he's done it probably before, but has Dylan played third this year?
I think once, maybe half an inning or
Okay.
so, or whatever.
Okay.
Urias hurt his forearm or got hit with the pitch.
Okay.
So, yeah, I mean, like if I was Urias, that's the guy that probably sits down, especially with, I think they could do if there's a lefty on the mound, they could put Dylan in left field quite easily as well
Right.
because
Yeah. Yeah.
they're not going to play Kenzone against a lefty. That's just
Right.
not, they can do it with Rayleigh a little bit more, but they're not going to do it with Kenzone.
Right. What? Okay. So then, where are we at with Garver and Polanco?
It says Garver was in the lineup today. I didn't see if
Okay.
Polanco was.
Okay.
I quit posting the lineup
Oh, that's right. Because you get
last.
mad. That's
Yeah,
right.
because I don't want to hear people's thoughts on the lineup construction. So I stopped. I stopped posting the lineup. So
Yeah.
I can look and see. I know Garver's in there. I'm pretty
Okay.
certain. I was kind of just glancing at it, and then
Well, that's
um,
good because that was, I mean, anytime you start dealing with the back and having back issues, that's always a concern. And I know it was just spasms, but
yeah,
it's never good to have that with
yeah,
him, especially a guy with injury history.
yeah. Our buddy Alex Akita chimed in about the lineup already, just because Luke Rayleigh's not in there because there's a lefty on the mound.
Yeah.
So because Alex is what Alex does. So, but
But
yeah, I
where do you sit with that? I get the philosophy. I understand it. They are trying to go to kind of more of a true platoon. It's what a lot of teams in baseball already do. They're not the only one that does it. But when you have a guy that is hot as Luke Rayleigh is right now, do you just say, you know what, man, let's run him out there and see what he can do?
um
It's not
yes
like he.
and no.
Mhm.
Polanco is not in there today, by the
Okay.
way.
All right.
But yes and no. I mean, like I look at it this way: if they're hot and you put him out there against a lefty and he punches out 3 times, does that put him down again? Does that put him in a bad spot? Like
Fair.
part of the reason why they're hot is you've been playing him in a way that optimizes their success rate
Mm-hmm.
is by helping get hot. Like with Rayleigh, he's faced some, but it hasn't been a ton. They
All right.
use the right opportunities to play him. You can still use him in a game. Like again, like putting him in with a lefty on the mound, you know, you can you can use your whole bench. So why not put the righty in and then bring him in when they bring the right-handed reliever in? He still
Yeah.
has a
Yeah.
chance to affect the game. Like I think that's what people don't get is like
Yeah.
they still have a chance to play
Right.
and have an impact. And I think that's because it's not like it was 2 and 3 years ago when they just had no bench. They have a real bench. You can use them now. And I think you've designed this team this way. You've had kind of a platoon set up in mind to maximize the amount or the talents and the kind of the production history of these players. You should follow it because like I think a fair amount of research and time went into designing a roster a certain way. It can't always just be to the whims. Well, he's hot. You got to ride the hot bat. Well, yeah, but maybe he's hot because you played him the way you were supposed to play
Right.
him in the first
Right.
place.
Right. Have you seen what have you seen in the last few games from Ty France? You think this could be the sign of things turning for him?
Yeah, yeah, just because like the pull side power in the air is good, and he's
No.
hit some balls up the middle hard. Still looks like he's out in front, but that's kind of the design is to catch the ball out in front while still being able to hit it hard the other way. I think the contact rate and the exit velocity has been better than it was early in the year. I just think he was, you're implementing stuff and you're trying to find a feeling, and it's a lot different than just doing it in the cage, and you get out of rhythm, and you don't really have that because you've added this kind of new thing to your stance. You don't really have that baseline to get back to because this is new to you. So like when things are going wrong, you have to figure out what is working. So I think this is much better. And I think they all know. I think Haniger, I think Ty knows that if you don't perform, you're not going to play
Right.
because there's guys that are performing.
Yeah.
I mean, these guys all want to play. None of them are used to sitting. Like Dylan Moore had that great line. Like every one of us played every single inning of every game coming up. And then
Right.
you get to the big leagues and you have to stop, and it's an adjustment.
Um, Bullpen. What are they gonna do here soon with this bullpen? Because you've got Andres Munoz, who looked at it. He's pitched, I think, already 7 times now in 17 games, where he's pitched multiple innings. Where I think I looked at it the other day. Last year he did it 1 time in the first 17 games. I mean, they're running through him. Gabe Spire's been used a lot. What are the options? It's something they'll probably look at right at the deadline. But what are their internal options right now? What's it in Tacoma or anywhere else that they could dip into and maybe help them out?
Yeah, they haven't had that guy that's emerged into Justin Topa yet.
Mm-mm.
I mean, I think they were hoping Trent Thornton could be that guy, and he was good early, but it just hasn't been as good with in leverage. Ryan Stanek hasn't been very good, honestly. Like I
Mm-mm.
wrote, he's allowed a lot of base runners, so that's the problem. Is like Stanek is a proven veteran. You're thinking you're going to get better from him. Maybe he can get better, but like right now, he just allows too many base runners. Um, I was looking down there at Tacoma. Like all their guys throw hard, but like Ty Buttrey and this Jordan Holloway who throw 100, they're just some walks are hurting them, and I think that's made the Mariners cautious. I mean, we could see Colin Snyder, who doesn't throw hard, but it's more of a ground ball type pitcher. They may have to do that route until Santos is ready. He's throwing, he's traveling with the team. They're watching him. They're going to make sure this guy, is under very watchful. They want him to like get going. So, but
Are you hopeful for Santos?
I mean, you won't see him until
Sure.
what is it today, May 17th. Like,
Yeah.
I don't expect him to see him until mid June.
Hmm.
You know,
Okay.
maybe first week of June at the earliest, because he's like, he still got to go out, probably pitch 3 or 4 times in a minor league rehab. So, um, yeah, I don't know. Like they may have to look outside the organization. I know I tweeted the other day, but Logan Evans is one of their better pitching prospects. He's at Double A. He throws 99, 98, 99. He's got a nasty slider. There has been talk like just for this year to use him in the bullpen some, just to kind of alleviate some of the stress and just bring in a guy that can get some swing and miss. But he's only at Double A, and this is his first year at Double A, so I don't think that move would happen until July or so when you've kind of exhausted all other avenues.
What about like the Wu decision? Would you do something with Brian Wu and have Hancock be your fifth starter?
I don't know that relieving is better for Brian Wu.
Okay.
I don't, because you have to get the unpredictability of getting hot and then sit down if you're not and everything else. You'd have to be super structured. It was like that one year when they had Mark Lowe up and they would never pitch him back to back and he had to have 2 days off. You really hamstring yourself when you have strict limitations on a reliever,
Yeah.
especially when you only can have 8. Like that, there's a minimum. Like if they could carry 9 relievers and have one less bench guy, they would do it. Then you could do something like that. But having a guy that is on strict usage limits, that's a problem.
Vladimir is still in my computer. At what point do you think how much information do you think Vladimir has received from the computer already?
Yeah, I just like, yes, Jason, we looked in your browser. It's
I mean, just take a Vladimir. I know you probably can hear me right now. Just take it all.
they
Just
have the
all of it.
best. I mean, the Russians have the best hackers in the world. So I mean, like
Yeah,
maybe that's how.
he could be pretending to be this cybersecurity guy that's helping me out, but he's really just in there right now mining. I mean, who I don't know.
He's picked the wrong person to mine from, honestly. But
Well, for money, that's
yeah,
true.
yeah.
That and really
He should have went to your wife's computer
yeah,
instead.
that's what he should have done. Absolutely. Where do you think? Okay, we talked about this on Wednesday with you and Brad, and I think it's worth bringing up again. I mean, they're as we do this on Friday here. I mean, they're 4 games over 500. They're in first place. I didn't think that this record would have them in first place. They are a flawed baseball team, but at the same time, and I got to remind myself of this as a fan. You're the reporter. You cover the team, but they're a flawed baseball team. But still at the same time, they're in first place
Yeah.
as a flawed baseball team. I mean, that I guess that's a kind of amazing when you think about it. That if they were to do something or get better, whether acquiring more talent or the players they have now just perform better. I mean, Ryan, I don't know. It's got a chance to be a pretty fun summer and a scary summer for all the other teams in the American League if they can just get it going more consistently offensively.
Yeah, I mean, like the two other really good teams in their division are really flawed too. Like
Yeah.
the Mariners is a performance-based flaw. Like
Mm.
I think the Rangers and the Astros have a personnel flaw as well. I mean, the Mariners' flaw is the bullpen. They don't have the arms. The offense is performance-based. They're just not performing. I mean, like they're never going to be like the Orioles in terms of production, but they're better than what they've shown, especially because they don't have Julio going. Um, the Rangers have issues in their starting rotation. They have performance issues in their bullpen. They have some injury issues. The Astros have pitch problems with their starters, problems with their bullpen. So like I don't think the Mariners are quite as flawed. That's probably why they are where they are. But even like you look at the Yankees and Orioles, the Orioles are pretty solid. I mean, they went out and got Burns to help their rotation. They're probably like the least flawed baseball team in the American League. I think if
Hmm.
you look at it, I mean, like I think we all still have questions about the Yankees starting pitching. Do they get Cole back? Carlos Rodon never stays healthy for a whole season. Their bullpen tends to get overworked because of that and because of the league they play in. So I'm looking around, like it's like the Mariners aren't the worst looking team in the American
No,
League, and they
no.
just and they've managed to like while the Rangers haven't played as well, and the Astros have been terrible, the Mariners have managed to play through their kind of really low period by having one thing be really good, their pitching,
Hmm.
to get them through it and come out the other side. So I think if the offense shows anything, I mean, yeah, we could see them push ahead, and I mean, I think that's big because eventually the Rangers will get some guys back, and the Astros will get some guys back. You got to keep pushing while these other teams are a little weakened, and you aren't necessarily as weakened by injuries. Push forward and keep going and pick up some games. It's just going to be really hard right now on this stretch of games because, like I said, the Orioles and Yankees are so good.
What do we do for Julio? And do we sacrifice a chicken? Do we get a slump buster? I mean, what direction do we go in? Does he still have the girlfriend? So we probably can't go that route. But they
Yeah,
need something, for the love of God, to get him going.
I think it's been okay. I think like the base running, well, the one was a base running mistake getting picked off, just being a little
Yeah,
over aggressive. And that's a guy trying to contribute in a way because he hasn't contributed enough from the plate. The sliding past the base, those are kind of fluky plays that 10 years ago, they don't get called. He's safe. Nobody calls
right,
him.
right.
I think it's been better. I do think it's really looked a lot better, but some of the changes he's trying to make to his setup, his swing, mentality. It takes time, and sometimes there's a lull period where you step back a couple steps and maybe have a couple bad games, and then it explodes right. So I thought, at least what I saw on the homestand, it was better. Like the balance and not falling all over the place, and the direction of his swing, like being not pulling off the ball and everything else was better. But it's a matter of can you continue that and like stay with it, even if you're maybe not getting the results you expect.
Yeah. How is he and how has he handled it
I think
when you're around him?
he's been okay. I mean, like he's still the same kind of upbeat personality. I think
Yeah,
maybe not as much as when it's going right, but like it helps that the team's winning. If the team was losing and he was bad,
yeah.
he would take it very personally because he would blame himself because that's what he does. So like that they're winning and other people are contributing, he's happy for other people, but he also knows that that's not sustainable and he needs to do something more.
Yeah.
But I think he's coming to the realizations he can't do it by himself and he can't force it to happen. He's got to do the work and hopefully, make some adjustments to his approach and then it'll come around.
Okay. When is the meet? When does the track meet start?
We're getting ready to leave here in a little bit.
Oh,
So,
okay. Well,
so
let's cut you loose. Let's
yeah.
cut you loose. Yeah. What else you got planned in big bad Billings?
Uh, well, not too much, it's kind of, it's not one of my favorite Montana cities by
No,
any means.
Billings is not it for you.
No, it's like on the lower half. I mean, it's not as low as Bozeman, which ranks last in all of them.
Yeah,
I mean,
but Bozeman's nice though.
I'd rather go swim in the Berkeley pit in Butte than spend a lot of time in Bozeman.
The Berkeley pit. All right. Enjoy yourself. Good luck to the kids. Good luck to the daughter and the track meet. Good luck to the boy. They're playing a little baseball. And we'll talk to you next week, Divish.
All right, sounds good, man. See you.
There he is, Ryan Divish, Seattle Times. All brought to you by Chalet Bowl here at PuckSports.com.